Hello and welcome to the Grand Slam Australia preview. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that's in store on AEW's next big televised special. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have question and answer time. Yeah, we have wrestler interviews on occasion. We have wrestling roundtable discussions, and we host a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz of chaos on WhatCulture. Hamflett.
Yeah.
How big's the ring going to be, and does it matter?
It's going to be 18 by 18, which is going to be more noticeable than it should be because we're also conditioned to 20 by 20 for big mainstream products. And I kind of hope it is because I loved the discourse last year. I'm not even really a part of the discourse anymore, but I just, even like the secondary discourse runoff I get through working here will entertain me on Monday morning because I will just tune in and watch the show of this company that I think has been relatively well booked as a nice roadblock type stopgap to the actual pay-per-view, which I think has aided Tony Khan's booking immensely at the start of this year. I kind of wish we could have 4 of these and 4 papers a year.
Remember the dream of Battle of the Belts?
Yep. This is
kind of like
this is the way.
This is the closest we've got to a Battle of the Belts in sort of the ideal planning stage situation.
So there, all of that plus funny ring conversation.
So small.
Is platonic ideal stuff for me, like.
Here's the thing, right? I noticed it only because at that time Kenny Omega needed to, his acceleration wasn't what it was, so I think he needed a few steps to become Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
He only managed to really look like Kenny Omega in the match, which of course Dave rated 5 stars. It's funny. They've got billions, the Khans.
Yeah.
Billions.
Are they richer than the Fed or not? Was it Vince owned it, they were richer than the Fed?
I think they were richer than the Fed once upon a time.
TKO, it might have muddied the waters a bit now, but like.
I don't understand. I'm sure this would have been clarified somewhere last year. I forgot to look for my sins, right? In the aftermath of why is the ring small? And I think the answer was they borrowed one and whacked their signage on the skirts and stuff. And I don't know if the question was asked. It probably wasn't answered, and everyone just moved on because ultimately it's very silly discourse. And there'll be AEW fans who are probably furious that I'm reminding them of it. It's just the Fed tour internationally and have toured internationally for decades, and they've never had a problem either creating like rings to spec in the places that they're about to tour, and then getting them driven to the show, or flying them out some way, somehow.
Vince McMahon had an obsession with...
Or, like, was not shipping it around the world, like, in a boat?
Yeah, they've done all sorts. Like, they've shipped it around the world. They shipped the Hell in a Cell about as well. I'm pretty sure one of the Hell in a Cells of recent times was in Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. He had rings. It's why, obviously, we only get the sponsorships now, because it was this, well, he was the one guy that could block it, for example. But the look and size and everything of the ring was this odd day one specification that pretty much held till the day he resigned in disgrace.
It can never be changed.
Nah, you'll see like even grainy 80s European tour not European tour, but like tour footage where it's getting out and about a bit more.
Look at that thing, it's gone acca.
That's gone a bit wobbly, isn't it? Well,
you doing the job there?
Yeah, we're good. Don't worry. You will see like the ring posts are not quite right. Like they'll be red or something. And I'm thinking, come on, switch on. And they would eventually. They'd make it blue. They'd make it consistent. I want it to always look the same. But so did he. And he understood that's what, like a global organization looks like, a market leader, blah, 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 blah. The stuff that people hate that actually is important. Like perception is reality, etc. You'll see these shows that just grainy camera footage, crowd in weird places. Why is the referee wearing beige flares? Like there's loads of bits that are wrong. But the ring is the ring. The wrestlers look a certain kind of way in it that color of the canvas, that kind of like what? How would you describe it? It was like such a pale blue, it was virtually white, but you couldn't commit to calling it an off-white. Could
I
you?
know.
What it fed canvas color.
Yeah.
Before now they mix it up and stuff. Like it was always that, and I think that was to AEW's immense credit. I think the fact that they immediately, like, I don't know who was in charge. You'll probably know this. You wrote an excellent book, but somebody must have at one point said, you know, we have to go 20 by 20. It has to be this right from day one, and it has to be this. We cannot start
all
Ring
I
of
know
Honor
is
sized.
about the ring spec is that Cody is either taking credit for the apron gap or is being, well, he's one of the few sort of media facing people in AEW. I mean, Kenny didn't really want to do it at the time, but Cody was happy to be the face of it and the voice of it and all the rest of it and get the attendant, whatever. But I know he's either agreed or said we all came up with the idea of, so I don't know who said it had to be 20 by 20, but it had to be.
It did, didn't it?
And it's weird, right? Because you never know how much of this stuff matters outside of the bubble. It just popped into my head. Will they have another rinky-dink little ring again? Like, we have talked about in our fandom, maybe AEW's offering is such that they're never going to get a WWE-sized audience or a significantly bigger one or what. But I do think these little things matter. And it was one night a year and what have you. It didn't help that it looked particularly miniaturized because the gap between the ring and the guardrail was just enormous.
Yeah, it was that was most noticeable, was the wide mats, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it's just one of those where the original thing was Grand Slam in a stadium, was it not? And then the downsized it.
They were already.
So you were expecting like a proper 2021 Grand Slam Arthur Ashe, but in Australia, and it looked nothing like that. I just think they took a bit of a battering. These things are very, very temporary in the news cycle and whatnot. But I just think you've got billions. Just get someone to create either ship it or get someone to create it on spec over there and drive it, because these little things matter. Like, because we've talked. Sorry, I dropped my thought there. Me and you have talked about, and things might be different now. I suspect not. Of like the experience of growing up as an impressionable kid, pre and mid and post Sky Sports UK Fed boom, and then because you became this wrestling obsessed child, you became aware of, oh, there's a little one as well.
Yeah.
They've got their own Ultimate Warrior, but he looks like he's a cooler dude. And they've got this old man with a glittery robe.
Yep.
It's impressive that old Sting and Ric Flair, and it's WCW. And you learn from like, the official WWF magazine or Yearbook or whatever. And then you go to John Menzies or whatever, the news agent. It's like, oh, PWI. Who's that old man? And it's Ric Flair. It's true though, innit?
Oh, my auntie's bought me a wrestling figure. Oh, no fooling. Tear it open. It's Sting. I can't do nothing with this guy.
You can't do nothing with this guy. You can't move the action figure.
Every element is inferior.
And like, did they have videos that were more expensive, or have I made that up?
I don't think they were more expensive, but their range was way smaller, and crucially, the brand.
Did they have Purple Lightning?
Did they balls? The branding wasn't as consistent as SummerSlam's WrestleMania and Survivor Series, in that, as I've said those things to you, you've pictured the exact colour palettes for all of those events, right? Yeah, it was like Starcade. There's another wrestling company coming over from Japan for like a mini tournament. What's Future Shock mean? Like, is it Chamber of Horrors or Halloween Havoc? What's it called? Make it simpler for me.
Every detail matters. Come on, spend the dough. Get the money out.
I think they will, by the way. Tony Khan has a memory for this kind of stuff. I think they will. I think I had forgotten it a bit until it came up on a podcast we were talking about because of the Murray and Wilborn's Hasbro ring bit. Good bit. But I think he will have remembered from that day, or made a little note in one of his pads. And when we come back,
ring equals bigger. Anyway, the first match I've got written down, God knows the ordering. I suspect this will not open because it's got women in it. The Babes of Wrath are set to defend the AEW Women's World Tag Team titles against Megabad. We know this. We know the reason why this exists, to be cynical or to be, clever, astute, cynical. Maybe all of those things at once. Holly Cameron, Australian native, hugely over at last year's show, around which a lot of it was built, really, in the build-up. Excellent build for that match against Mercedes Moné. Look, I don't suspect there's going to be a title change here. Now that Tekla is the new AEW Women's World Champion, that's not a spoiler. You probably should have watched the other one before this. I apologize. I don't think there's a pressing need to legitimize or rebuild, if you like, Megan Bain, because they were really short on heels. Now they've got the most credible one in theory because, Tekla is the champion. So I feel like if there was a suggestion that Megabad could win the titles, I don't think it's necessary. Feels like a nice way of getting Holly Cameron the pop, and then when they give Holly Cameron the pop in Australia, I can't do the accent really, because she gets the superstar reaction, it will therefore reinforce her as a superstar. Does it really carry over to the USA TV? No, but it's a nice moment for the paying customer. And seemingly, this is the second year. They might want to do this as an annual tradition. They might move it. I don't know. What critics, media, list makers, podcasters, dickheads. We're not really journalists or reporters, but this is I feel like the attendance, I read in the Observer that they'd crept over 7,000.
All right.
Which ain't bad at all.
No.
That 7,000 is one of those that even in one of those really cavernous, huge buildings, you can make that look good.
They've got great TV
good.
there, are they, as well? AEW.
Don't think so. It feels why go to the bother of going all the way around the world if they don't have the best TV and the ad. So, but apparently that again took a long time to get to a more than respectable number. So maybe they won't do this anymore. In any event, I don't think this match is going to be particularly good. Every time I see that double team maneuver where Willow Nightingale sort of wheelbarrows Holly Cameron and just appears to let go and Cameron just kind of splats, I hate it. It just looks like it doesn't hurt at all. I think that's kind of consistent with their work. I feel like it just feels like Willow Nightingale has been flanderized in this unit because she's with. When there's it's like, I was going to say something to you, Hamflett. I don't think you'd quite get the analogy, as basic as it is. You know when things can be too sugary sweet, and there's too much of it?
I've heard people speak on that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like I find it really cloying, claggy, overdose of wholesomeness and quirk.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. The Babes of Wrath, not a fan. Individually, think they're very, very good. It's just too much when they're together. But I don't think this will get long. I think it basically is going to be an unambitious back and forth, minimal drama, probably tucked second on the show. There'll be a back and forth, longish match first. Maybe even Hangman Andrade. This will go second just for the fans who are starting to go, Christ almighty, that took my breath away. Kind of need to get it back. Oh, there's Holly Cameron.
I wouldn't put a pasty on it, but I think it will go first. I think this will open. I think
there's 4 women in it.
I know. I think it's the spreading out of the Aussie pops, right?
Ah, right. Distributing. Everyone says that. Distributing the Aussie pops.
Yeah.
The old Aussie pop distributor.
Exactly, yeah. I've been, running the numbers. If you can't go on last, you go on first. And the Willow Nightingale pop in any building is still a thing. It's one of the reasons why the Babes of Wrath have the belts. As you say, the actor's a little bit kooky, quirky, whatever, kitsch. But it's not over, which is something. The work, the level of work in this, I actually think will be surprisingly strong. I think Megan Bain in particular will see this as another one of those. She's quite good at seizing wrestling opportunities, Megan Bain. I think she looks and works better in front of bigger crowds or on bigger stages, bigger occasions. She's that kind of wrestler. Penelope Ford, it's just consistent over the years, but like we'll just bump. We'll sort of recognize the opportunity even in defeat, and it's like that. There's a house show opener quality to this one with the fact that the home country star returning to get the pin and the win. You get the Willow Nightingale entrance pop, but you get the Harley Cameron victory pop as well. Double pop in the Aussie pop. What was it you called it?
What
was it you called the Aussie Pops thing we said before? Anyway, they're spreading them out with them.
The Aussie Pop distributor.
The Aussie Pops distributor. Yeah, thank you. Like, there's a big one to come later on, and I
like Men at Work.
I firmly believe there'll be a one in the main event as well. So I think this represents a nice splitting of them through the start of the card, the middle of the card, and the main event.
Okay, well, and you think the baby faces go over?
Yeah, Bib's right.
I mean,
just something nice. It's just nice.
No, I'm not into it, man. I honestly think, right.
What was that sticking up for it corner? We came up with the corner for just like, oh, I'm giving him a chance. It was like, do you remember? It was like Drew McIntyre. So there was definitely a corner for this.
Like, there's a fifth corner.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. Sometimes I feel I'm being mean, but there is kind of like an actual serious point underpinning my criticisms of the Babes of Wrath, and by extension, this women's tag team division. It was only ever going to work if you're going to add more women's segments to Dynamite. It has replaced a lot of the singles stuff, and it's just the women's division, I think, has suffered through the launch of these women's tag team titles. The match quality's gone down. I feel like the serious tone has gone down. I know it sounds stupid considering Tony Storm was like on top of it for like about 18 months, but I feel like the tone has just got cheapened.
It's only February, right? But I'm on the verge of an agenda because of just how much I loved Willow Nightingale dethroning Mercedes Moné to then have her basically ice the title because she's got the tag belts.
Yeah, but
like, that's starting to stick out to me a little bit. And I understand that the rationale would be.
I kind of forgot she was a TBS champion, to be honest.
And that match was really good, and Mercedes put her over. Do you know what I mean? That was like that was a big belt that she couldn't lose, and she lost it.
Yeah,
and she's gone away. She is selling the consequences of that defeat, the whole deal, and like for what?
And
really,
Willow's not even selling the victory.
Yeah. It's not yet a huge thing, but I think you'll start counting the months and being like, that's really not on.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Well, the next match to preview, I expect will be a lot better bell to bell because they have got previous. It's Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW Continental title. As those words come out of my mouth, it's like, it is the Continental, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah, because
he won the tournament.
Carter's still got the International.
Yeah, the de-unified.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing with this one, right? Let's look at their previous form as an indication of how good this is going to be. At the end of the day, even if the advance isn't amazing, it's still... Is it in a different Australian bit?
I don't know, actually.
I should have looked this up. Could you do us a favor?
I will, yeah. I'll check.
Either way, it's a maximum of the second time that people in this city have had the chance to see AEW. They were very, very loud and enthusiastic last year. So much so, one of my enduring memories of the show was Will Ospreay coming out and doing the syringe injected body language because he was so... And he's wrestled in Australia loads, Will Ospreay.
Sydney this year, Brisbane last year.
Yeah,
so new city getting
new market.
Yeah,
like,
Will Ospreay loves Australia, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he tried to launch wrestling out there. In a big way.
Absolutely. So I expect, well, it'd be weird if these fans don't come up for almost every second of the show, going to see and being part of history and getting your first opportunity to see something you've loved for years live. Like, we were miserable beans, toasts, bastards. Bitter bean-eating bastards, Benno, yeah? Ahead of All In 2023, me and Hamflett turn up to Wembley Stadium, beer and ain. Right, and then Jeff Jarrett in front of a half-full stadium does some absolutely light house show fare. We are going absolutely aga.
Yeah,
going to see it live rules. So this will have a lot of heat behind it. The two, I think they've had more than two, right? But the two that stick out to me between Moxley and Takeshita is they had a limb work match on a pay-per-view when Jon Moxley was doing one of his Bob Holly World tours. And I found it really, really tedious.
Takeshita still as the babyface. He was kind of having lightning bolt, exciting matches with everybody, and that was the slow it down kid one.
I think
in that era?
No, I think Takeshita had already been established by that point.
Right.
And it just hadn't. I think they'd worked the storyline injury throughout, and it was ambitious, and it was one of those where it is different to what was relevant. I can't remember the name of the pay per view, to be honest. They're kind of all blending into each other now, which is
that happens.
An issue now. But I remember late 2022, they had a Rampage match when it was the perfect meeting between these two wrestlers, and more to the point, we'll kind of get to this, characters, wherein Jon Moxley was having his... Remember when it was him versus Dax Harwood for TV Wrestler of the Year?
Mm-hmm.
Where every single week, one or both of them was knocking out something incredible.
Yep.
And Jon Moxley, in-ring, was the best wrestler in the world in 2022 for me. And he was covered in blood, even by his standards. He was drenched in it. And this was when Konosuke Takeshita was like, he needs that one big win. Before he was forever on the cusp, he was like, it was no doubt that he'd be a huge star in AEW, and he just needed a massive win. And they went to war, and it was just so urgent, so violent, so bombastic. It was just this incredible... It was the best Jon Moxley New Japan match, and it wasn't even a New Japan, like that strong style, sort of like, competitive. It was wonderful. Here's the thing, Jon Moxley, and maybe we're being fickle and a little bit, hand waving him away when he's been so great most of the time over the past 12 months, but he doesn't feel like that 2022 undisputed every single week. It's like an event. You're going to get an awesome Jon Moxley match, and Konosuke Takeshita's been middled. He's not the guy who you're desperate to see win the big one anymore, and he's not the guy you believe can go to the main event level permanently anymore. He is a guy who is a total banger factory, and that's kind of it at this point. It's going to happen at some point. Maybe in a zone, maybe on an island. He'll beat Okada. They've done the first match. They've done the classic Bureau booking where the younger understudy loses the first match. He will eventually come back to the guy who is eventually going to succeed and all the rest of it. So the characters are in different places. The stakes feel minimal because if Takeshita wins the Continental title, so what?
Yeah.
So I can't buzz about this, and it's wrapped around this odd Death Riders versus Don Callis feud, which appears to have come out of nowhere, and the Death Riders are the de facto baby faces because Don Callis is a little bit sleazy. It's not the best story. The characters aren't in the best place. However, we know they've got it in them to deliver. Their exchanges in recent weeks have been really, really strong. And again, this is one of the reasons why you do these shows, why you do these specials. The crowd will feel so grateful and so excited that it's the kind of thing that makes a 3-star match into a 4-star. And on that, they did Okada versus Buddy Matthews last year in, where was it, Brisbane, you said?
Yeah.
And for like 80%, if not 85% of the runtime, Okada overseas Okada'd it. And it was just, it's a bit nothing, this, a bit sludgy, a bit flat. And then he decided to do like about 5 2.999999s in the space of like a minute with Buddy's offense. And it just was so electric in the building that it turned into a 4. So if I'm being miserable throughout this preview and you're thinking, stop it, it doesn't matter if my in-ring expectations are met. It won't be a disappointment. This crowd will lift all of it up.
Yeah, I think Takeshita's not had a great 2026, but I think he could, within AEW, I should stress, you could argue the same for 2025. Yes, he was carrying around the IWGP title. Enormous, right?
He was better when he wasn't in AEW.
Yeah.
His Ring of Honor stuff got raves. I saw the Bandito match. I was slightly below on it, but I can understand why people adored it as much as they did.
The reports from last year's G1 weren't as glowing as the reports from the prior year's G1. There has been I would say, not a downcycling of the Takeshita character or his work, a downcycling of the investment, both from the audience and it feels like from AEW in Takeshita. And I can't quite work out why it's happened other than the systemic realities of sometimes how Tony Khan books.
And having that huger roster. And
well, yeah, but then a lot of the time as a result, wrestlers ride their luck, don't they? We're going to talk about someone in a Kyle Fletcher elsewhere on this card who seemingly at the moment can't be stopped by that kind of booking and those kind of situations. And it has happened to Takeshita, and I didn't see it coming, if I'm honest. He looked like one of those inexorable rise guys, you know, like, and it's just
that stuff with the Carter last year was TV gold.
Yeah.
It was gold, and it's gone away.
It's weird how that's sort of been, like, I don't know, like, the focus has been taken off it. It's only been forgotten if you think it's been forgotten. For all we know, Tony Khan has got an exact specific moment where he's going to pick it back up and say, look, it was never actually dropped. I just wanted to do this and this and this first.
Problem with him, though.
Yeah. So my anticipation is the same as yours, but what will massively help, as you say, is atmosphere. What I think will really help this is at the point at which in this match, and I really hope they do this as well, the story reveals the situational heel. I really want them to pick a lane here with both of them. Like, I love the potential of babyface Takeshita, who at the moment, he does that thing, doesn't he? It's almost like
he's a babyface already.
Like, halfway through, he'll like let the genie out the bottle, and then you get to just enjoy Takeshita. Like, he might start off being this like dangerous heel, and then over the course of the match, this happens all the time now with his work. But I would love to see how that goes up against this Jon Moxley, who in massive matches in the C2 started working from underneath and started making himself the valiant, never give up babyface. Like, which one of them wins out? Do you know what I mean? Like, the two of them presumably will decide beforehand, right? Like, say Moxley, for example, I'm going to go pretty evil with you here because I've been the one saying to Don Callis, like, how then bring me your best. And I'm going to take, and I'm going to, that's been there's a bit of a cockiness to Moxley's build into this.
Yeah.
It's not the C2 where he was fighting from underneath and he's like, oh, this is playoffs, this is the real quiz. Like, so maybe he adopts that in the match. And then
the champion's mentality now.
Yeah. And then he adapts his performance as a result. And you get this like heel leaning Moxley in order to facilitate Takeshita's like incredible comeback in front of a crowd that are going to be at this point particularly receptive to it because they've been worked into it. I want them to pick traditional roles here. I think that makes the match better. I do. I don't think this can just be a contest of who's better. You know, like who gets to do his best bits. Like,
will be.
And I don't think that serves the match. I honestly think like if Jon Moxley gets nasty after the first, if he notices that, he's got my number, hasn't he? Like, and then he gets crueler with it, and he knows that he can go back to Dynamite on Wednesday, and the Death Riders can be this tweener role, babyface role, whatever. But here he can indulge himself, not least because you could argue the bigger Death Riders business is happening elsewhere on the card with heels.
Yeah,
you know, there's an opportunity I think for the Death Riders to have a bit of consistency throughout this card.
We've been saying that about the Blackpool Combat Club since 2022.
Yeah, I know.
4 years of inconsistency.
I just think that's how this match goes from being
who wins.
Bro, I just think I've sort of been beaten into submission when it comes to Jon Moxley predictions, and I'll just go with Jon Moxley. Like, I find it very hard to, like, because Takeshita as well is like, it's not
like 1970 Brazil and 2018 Man City rolled into one,
yeah,
isn't he?
God, he is. Like, it's not even Takeshita at this point. It's not even saying like he can absorb a loss. He does absorb losses. He loses Takeshita, and it's fine. Do you know what I mean? He's made it to that level of being over. He's supported by the fans. You can tell if we were all, you mentioned, I really like that you've like just said this phrase because I think it's something I'm going to start talking about more when it comes to AEW analysis. Like, as an AEW fan base, everybody's constantly thinking about booking patterns. Like, as an adult fan base, like you do it with WWE as an adult, but certainly AEW encourages you.
I don't think about WWE at all.
Like, encourages you to think about booking patterns. And I don't think Takeshita's losses impact, like, all of a sudden us going, oh, the booking pattern now suggests he's going to actually rise up the card. Do you know what I mean?
No,
it doesn't,
no.
And I just think as a result, this meaningless belt, this toy, this trinket is something that Jon Moxley can take over in his bag rather than Takeshita, genuinely. Especially, again, if he decides to work heel. I really do think that'll make this much better if they both pick a lane and you get to decide. I know Callis might be out there with Takeshita, but we've had this situation now with Fletcher where it's like, don't interfere.
Yeah.
Callis knows when to sit back.
You know you've got too many titles when it's just like, what does it matter?
It does not matter.
It does not matter who the Continental Champion of AEW is. I mean, it's cool in December. That's it. That's absolutely it.
I need to go back to the tag for a second. Have we overlooked something? You're not going to like this. Do we see that rumor, wasn't it?
The Iconics!
The rumor pops up. The rumor goes away. AEW are in Australia. they pop up at the end in like a shock, like lights on, lights off, lights on of the tag match.
I'm going to say
Not the end of the
We've
pay.
done it once this week, for God's sake. They're not going to do it twice. You're lucky to do it again this year.
Can you imagine Wilborn rushing to work on Monday morning? Guys, I want to do Grand Slam earlier. Can we do that first, please? But
can we just shatter this myth? Has Wilborn watched any TNA Impact to keep abreast of the old Iconics?
No, that's not fair. He loves his favourites, but you're not going to watch Impact to watch them. Like, CM Punk could spend the
CM
Impact.
Punk goes to
And
TNA.
I'm thinking, oh, what do I do? What do I do here? Oh,
Can you
it's
imagine?
the red button thing, isn't it? Red button meme.
What would have had to have happened? What if he's like he's going to join TNA? What would have had to have happened? Because I think Tony Khan would take him back.
He did it in his red hoodie rabble-rouser era. Do you remember that? When he went to Raw and shook hands with The Miz and they popped up. Like, remember that when he was still employed by AEW?
So I was going to go. I'm just
Seen some friends.
knowing, because he's clever, how that was going to be reported.
There was no collision then.
Didn't even have any friends. Famously, he ended the friendships, didn't he?
He went to the building to, like, make friends with the people he's made enemies with. Hey, Miz. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Hey, Miz. You all right? Imagine walking around backstage.
Every enemy he's made, about 100 of them.
Hey, like The Rock that time. Hey. You all right?
Hey, you mean you all right by CM Punk? Yeah, I was actually. That was strange.
Corey Gravy and The Miz. Hang on. Did CM Punk just walk up to you and go, hey, you all right? Damn, Gravy, you flexible as hell.
It's the Bill Murray thing. And they'll never believe you. Walks away.
Absolutely insane behavior from Phil Brooks. And on the subject of, Brawl Out and the altered fate of the entire AEW universe, Hangman Page is set to wrestle to become #1 contender, but standing in his way is Andrade El Idolo. Here's the thing. First of all, this is the first time meeting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to drop each other on their own heads.
Yes.
I just suspect this is going to be quite vile in places. Very, very, very good. I think this has got a definite chance of being great. I think the booking here is so strong. And again, Kenny Omega did it by talking about Brody King. MJF's been talking about Andrade when he's sort of been preoccupied with like Brody King and Hangman Page, but it's just everyone's been mentioning everyone, and these little sort of subliminal messages, if you like. They're not really subliminal, but just planting everything. Maybe there'll be a shredded doubt. And even if you can sense booking patterns and you kind of understand the business a little bit, you know that Tony Khan probably thinks that Hangman Page, established pay-per-view headliner, main character if you want, it's less risky to have him headline a pay-per-view than Andrade El Idolo, as well received as this run has been. But, because when a star finally gets something and gets over and gets an act or a thing or whatever, you just kind of want to see them ride that. And Andrade, with his big gack and his tiny trunks and his hot babes, he's got something. He's the heartthrob.
I want Andrade to get it done, man. Like, you could always run it on Dynamite. Nobody's saying you have to go to Revolution with it.
No, I think they've specified
Revolution.
Have they? Yeah, because wasn't Kenny Omega saying it? Well, see you at Revolution.
Yeah.
When they did that end of Dynamite when MJF was going backstage and encountered
right. I still think
rather
he could,
conveniently.
I still think he could. Honestly, like, Hangman Page is this really, really well-rounded character who you could even argue, showed a bit of a flaw when he decided to come out and interfere in MJF's match. And this idea that, like, he's kind of... He let on in that promo, didn't he? He was like, I was going to be this class champion and now it's you. I was going to wrestle this guy and this guy. Like, that's never really been Hangman Page's deal, has it? He's not an excuse maker. He's not, I would have been better actually anyway. It's not really...
If anything, he's the opposite. Where, like, personal mistakes or professional mistakes have weighed heavily on him, more so than is really warranted, and he's found himself in these slumps as a result. Is that not just a bit of bad booking amidst this otherwise really compelling world title picture?
Maybe. And, you're right in that Hangman and MJF is definitely a safer main event. Have they main evented Revolution before?
No, they've had a match at Revolution, but they've not main evented it. They had two.
I was in person for the Forbidden Door one, and the ending was a mess ski, but I did enjoy the match before that point.
But people just remember the finish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been so quick to run that back.
No.
I know the Marty scale of it all might not be helping here in terms of Hangman Page, but like, if you have a second, like his perception right now, if you have a second world title reign as a babyface and it doesn't go well, and you've had two where it's like, I think he's stigmatized as a guy now. I think everyone wanted to see him get that second chance.
Yeah.
Because the CM Punk MJF feud of 2022, and, just one of the best stories in modern wrestling history. And do you even need the modern prefix? Because that's how good it was. It did him no favors whatsoever. The ballooning cast did him no favors whatsoever. It felt like he was the main character of a different company by the time he actually won that title. People wanted him to have a second go round. It took ages. He finally got it. And again, it just wasn't amazing. I want Andrade to win this. It's a completely different match. The idea of, like, even if they're not going to do it, the idea of a booker going with a hot hand is very viable.
So it's quite a nice bit. MJF has already had this year where he's like, it's getting pretty stressful for him that there's like 6 of them, Jesus, that are all in and out of tournaments and in and out of the challenger blocks and whatever. And now, theoretically, Andrade is the only challenger because everyone's gotten busy with everybody else. But Andrade just happens to be part of, like, the biggest stable in wrestling history. Yeah. So MJF's got to watch his back from, like, 12 guys. And there's, like, some fun to be had with that. Like, Callis can do the whole, that's nothing personal, Max. But, like, if Lance Archer runs into you, he's going to kill you. They can have a lot of fun. Like, it's a short month as well, isn't it? It's like...
It's just, I know, it's just, I mean, I expect Hangman Page to win. And even if he does win, it's still good booking. You still cast doubt over the outcome. You've still made people want to believe in a different outcome, that this Andrade is hot, let's go with him. So I do think the match will be dramatic. I do think that it's rare that AEW will book a number one contenders match, especially for, like, say they did Ospreay Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
People would split. I thought it was Ospreay. It turned out to be Hangman. That's one thing. But with someone like Andrade, who was like on that, and I know Triple H and WWE bastardized the term, but on that B+ tier, but people really think that they should go with them, even if they don't believe there's an actual strong chance. So the match, it's AEW, the match will be good. It'll be really hard hitting. There'll be some disgusting spots in it. I believe there'll be drama. Again, the Australia deal, there'll be loads of heat to it.
Andrade's sell of the buckshot the other week on Dynamite was incredible.
Yeah.
The way he just turned into it at the last second.
Aye.
Like they look like they've got that timing down, even in the little exchanges.
Hangman does an awesome discus lariat, doesn't he? Him trying to throw that, but getting the elbow instead. Oh, God. There's loads of stuff that could do here.
Oh, he does, like, Andrade's doing the kind of Mortal Kombat out on his feet thing, but he actually just steps forward with the elbow as Hangman's flying in with the buckshot.
Aye.
Like, there's lots of little...
Yeah. I mean, the match could be... I mean, look at it. It could be incredible. It's just MJF versus Hangman Page. If there's just a few things going against it for me, Hangman Page has already done the redemption arc, babyface, failed world title run. I would argue this is the oldest he's felt as an AEW character, which I know definitionally it is.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
It's happening to a few of those wrestlers, isn't it? Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander, these names come
stuff,
up.
Yeah.
Like, what about this? MJF and Andrade in for the title.
Who's Andrade? Andrade. I know who Andrade is.
Drades. I said MJF and Drado because I've just nicknamed him Drado.
No, you said Andrade.
Drades.
Okay.
But because they're running Kenny and Swerve as a singles on Dynamite, what if somehow Hangman, as the force for good between them both, gets wedged in, you get a 3-way Revolution, and that becomes an in-one contenders match?
Nah. Another one.
Like... That's how so you still get Kenny and Swerve in a singles, but that's Dynamite. And then, like...
You can still save another Kenny...
You can have it as a draw. And then it's like, well, he's really the proper number one contender. And then Hangman somehow gets in. And that 3-way becomes, right, this will determine our number one contender for... What's that going to be? Double or nothing? Like, and then, like, let's say that's Kenny's win, just for example. Like, because then you got Swerve and Hangman to go in the Owen, blah, blah, blah. Like
Maybe. It's just,
It's an active picture. I love this. This is what I like to watch for. Because, like, this is...
Hangman's... never felt older as a character. MJF and Hangman had very uneven form last year because the Revolution build, like, it really felt like because it was people needed it as well, because that was Mox Cope's season. And people were like, oh, thank Christ we got MJF Hangman. That feels hot. That barely interacted. And then it got bad towards the end of the year, in my opinion, with the silly bother of setting.
Felt like one of the last ones left, didn't it, MJF and Hangman? I remember that feeling of like, that's mad that we've gone this long. And
and then MJF threatened to set someone on fire, and then they had that pretty weird and fake finish at the Pape. I don't know, but I think Hangman wins. I trust MJF and Hangman to get it right on the night. That criticism will sting from the last match. But we'll see. We shall see. And again, Hangman's getting to that point, and it happens to the best pro wrestlers, where a bit of booking that appears to be too favourable towards him, some off-screen snafus, overexposure. Could
company man page rather than Hangman page. You can never want it to feel like they're the Roman Reigns, John Cena project.
Between main character and company man. We'll see. We've got weeks and months for all that to settle.
One last thing, trying to psychoanalyze Tony Khan. Might he want to have MJF Hangman Page at Revolution because it legitimizes, in his old school promoter's brain, it legitimizes MJF because he won it from Joe, the transitional champion, and now he has to beat the actual last proper champion one-on-one. Is there an element of that where in his mind it's like we have to do that? It's a thing you do that the champion can't feel properly legitimized until he's actually beaten Hangman Page, and it's almost like squaring that one away. Like there's almost an administrative element to Hangman and MJF one more time, isn't there? Because MJF hasn't done it for the title at a singles level. He lost when they went one-on-one in the summer.
I don't want to keep meaning to turn on Hangman Page. It's like I feel sorry for the pro wrestler. There is a fickle element to the wrestling fandom, where the harder you work, the longer you work, the more people like loyalty just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I get it, but it just feels pretty uninspiring.
Andrade is funny. We're enjoying a good laugh with Andrade.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You gotta laugh.
You gotta laugh. Yeah, so that just feels pretty familiar at this point.
Yeah.
On to Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe.
Speaking of,
that was the joke.
What?
It's got a ladder in it.
Yeah,
it's got a ladder in it, right?
Yeah, of course it does.
So that's going to be like these two are absolutely like hog wild. Mark Briscoe's always had this about him. So like, you ever see that match from like talking about 22 years ago now against his brother?
Yeah,
that where they're just throwing chairs at each other. It's one of those insane matches.
Most extreme version of like, with your best friend you can hit each other a bit harder. With your brother you can have like sort of kill each other and decimate each other. It is
gross, compelling, like almost on the Joe Necro tier of how are you surviving this? How did your head feel the next day?
Thunking forehead stuff. Like it's really like
how did they feel the next day? Like, disgusting. Awesome. In a weird way, but disgusting. So Briscoe's been, not to that level, but he's been doing things of that nature for about 2 decades. Kyle Fletcher wrestles. He's got that Omega Ospreay demon where he's probably going to be a shadow of himself physically in 10 years. Where he just wants to just do hog wild stuff every single night he's in the ring because he's got that brain, flawed, but also... I love it. I need this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to completely sacrifice my body for this objective. He's like these two together have been involved in some pretty scary matches so far. Add a ladder to it, and it legitimately becomes terrifying. And I think as much as I'm like, this one again, and it's not just me saying it. Mark Briscoe's saying it. Kyle Fletcher's saying it. They've both said on Dynamite in different weeks, not you again, which is not ideal build for the feud, but I feel like them hanging a lantern on it is their way of saying to the fans, we'll go crazy in the last one and here's a ladder. That's basically what they're saying here. Who was in that match? And they're kind of like, they're not like well known, it's just the match was well known. There was like a famous ladder match from some indie, and every now and then it goes viral where it's like,
what were we just talking about? Like insane spots.
Where they did about 12 that no one's ever done since, because why would you?
It's a CZW one.
Maybe.
Something rings a bell there. I can't.
Something like they're doing like kind of like Avalanche. This might not be it. My head has probably created it, but like there's an Avalanche powerbomb from the top rope where they just land them on the top of the ladder. Stuff like crazy stuff. Like a video nasty ladder match where it's just no one will ever do anything like that again because it's stupid. It's also awesome. There might be an element of that.
Yeah.
Is it Helldiver or something like that?
Maybe.
Something like that.
Could they, are they going to Bizarro World this bitch? Like in the first 5 minutes, I've like Kyle Fletcher just do some really crowd-pleasing stuff. Fly around. And then like he goes to climb the ladder.
Fly around.
Goes to climb the ladder, get the belt. And then like Mark Briscoe, out of desperation, but like low blow right out the gate.
It's a weird one to do.
And then it's like, you know what, we're going to let you have a bit of fun with this. And Briscoe's going to be a nasty piece of work to win his belt. Because if this was in America, you'd be rooting for him. He'd be all bloodied up and you'd be rooting for him to finally win this one, the best of 7, the whole deal. But you flip it. Like really early on, you make it very clear, now Mark's going to get quite nasty tonight. And then as a result, you've got another like home country babyface to cheer for. Like the idea of Kyle Fletcher getting up that ladder for this meaningless title that is now beyond him as well, let's be honest, right? But the feeling of it, like it mirroring Jeff Hardy climbing while Jim Ross screams, "Come on, kid, make yourself famous," finger on the belt stuff, because there's all these fans that hate to see him do it. Like, the belt won't, like, make any difference, but that, like, sorry for the word, that moment will be massively elevated by the crowd. You're seeing them all, like, rise to their feet and everything. And Kyle Fletcher, who's said no interference. So ostensibly he's going in as a babyface anyway. He's not going to get help. He's not going to grab a secret screwdriver. Yes, they've done demented stuff to each other, but he's the goodie.
Yeah.
That's big for him, isn't it? Like,
it is.
Because you get a glimpse at what could one day be as well.
I guess. I don't. That would require Mark Briscoe to do nasty things in the match and be a heel, and he can do it.
It's violence with a sneer rather than a smile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the violence is still going to be there. Like,
it's one of those. The match will be incredible. It'll be terrifying. Like, fair play. As much as I'm bored of the pairing, they've managed to make the ladder match, the match that a lot of wrestling fans are just totally bored of, feel like the lights out match of a match where you think they're actually going to take really, really terrifying risks, and I'm really scared as a result. And it's a ladder match, but it's these two. So fair play. They are lunatics. They've worked me into being scared, restoring a little bit of gravity to the stipulation in the process. But when you start thinking about who wins, it's like, well, who cares?
Yeah.
So you don't want Fletcher to win a title because it'll make him less of a star. It's just dumb. It's pretty dumb, this title situation, and it really sort of undermines everything in this way that I'm starting to find it more and more difficult to ignore. Fletcher, because it's in Australia. Well, the penultimate match that we're going to preview here is Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm versus Wheeler Yuta and Rina Shafir, who are going to be wrestling at Grand Clam. If in fact we are, just to pay tribute to Tony Storm and her vulgar mouth.
It's good.
Grand Clam.
I like that. Grand's Clam. That's even grosser, isn't it?
Grand's Clam.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe
Your Grand's just our Grand's because you shouldn't be ageist.
Just anyone's Grand. A Grand's Clam. Everyone's got a Grand, everyone's got a Clam.
Grand Clam, Australia. What's the name of the building?
Please. If you ask the people going there, it's probably going to be the Sydney Opera House. But I'll check the actual name. It is. That's Brisbane again. It's the Kudos Bank Arena.
So of course, it's going to be the Kudos Wank Arena.
Correct.
Of course. I can't wait for this. Let's go wrestler by wrestler. This is going to be really funny, absurdly dramatic, and I know I make this reference every time I mention my love of a hair versus hair match. Chris Jericho and Ortiz had one of the loudest and most dramatic matches in WWE and AEW Dynamite history, purely as a result of that incredible, somehow underused stipulation in the US, right? People want to see it. It's set at the time of WrestleMania record because people wanted to see it. I'm desperate to see it, and I've got an idea of how they really go all the way in, right? Anyway, let's go one by one just to make it a bit of fun, because I think we all know who's going to get their head shaved, right? And see if there's like a reason why you can believe that one of these wrestlers would get their head shaved. Orange Cassidy. It would be funny.
Yeah, it's just him getting a haircut, really. And he's decided he's gone one grade shorter at the barber's. That's him getting his head shaved. He's got
longish hair.
I suppose he's got longish hair, but like I get a 1 on my back and sides when I get my hair cut. I don't consider myself to have long hair, but I've not got like a great deal less than Orange Cassidy when it's fully grown out. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
It's a haircut.
Yeah.
And for presumably as well.
If you look at it from a character perspective, he's this slacker.
Yeah.
The idea is meant to have like a little bit like,
It's the least interesting outcome.
Indeed. So it ain't happening. Toni Storm. Now, what I like about this is that Toni Storm is intensely committed to her character. She does, like, I saw footage of her at like an autograph signing or like a convention where she's just conducting conversations with the fans in the character of Timeless Toni Storm. Like, she just seems to live in it. It's wild because it is such a heightened portrayal. It's a character that can't really exist in our world as we know it. And yet, it's so well done, and she's so believable somehow in it, that when you see her as Toni Storm in, like, the Fed or, Stardom or NXT UK or whatever, that feels like a different person.
It's
like,
mad.
It's crazy. I could definitely see her going for it just to sell it. Just to, like, she wants to make history as, like, the best all-rounder in the history of US women's pro wrestling. Someone who can be the out-and-out biggest star of a promotion in which men and women wrestle. Someone who wants to be remembered as sort of the last proper characters in this industry. And I came up at a time when there weren't any left.
Yeah. She's kind of already been the ace before the Timeless character even existed. Remember that? Remember she was just, like, the best.
Yeah, but that was the best of the women's division.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is transcended, yeah.
Now when it's the Timeless character, at one point, and, they've kind of, this women's tag team division has not worked because it just hasn't. She was the biggest star in the company at one point.
Yeah.
Like, coming out of that match against Blake Monroe, and the promos were going crazy for her.
Mm.
Like, she loves having this legacy, you'd imagine. She's not living in this character as long as there's a camera near her, because she can't be arsed with it. She loves it. I can imagine her having the commitment, and I reckon she might have pitched, I'll have to get my head shaved.
Yeah.
You had an idea for...
Hairless Toni Storm.
Yeah.
So...
you also had an idea of what hair she would shave, didn't you?
Well, yeah. She would certainly offer to do it because it'd be a funny little bit.
Shave a bush.
Yeah, and then leave it in the bush. Australia. No, you don't need to do that. It's only the head. Question.
I haven't gone through the 4 yet, but go on.
I know, it's related to Toni Storm getting a haircut, pal. I can't remember the wrestlers, but I have seen an All Japan Women's Hair versus Hair where everybody's in tears, and it's unbelievable.
I'm sure it's Toyota.
Is it
Toyota?
Toyota?
Who the opponent is. But she's like the contrition at the end, and
it's like honor. I'm going to go through with this. Like it's what I agreed to. The honor of like actually following through with it, and everybody's devastated. Not a dry in the household deal. Toni Storm in the build up has pitched the prospect of getting a head shaved with real dread, but then the honor of doing it and working as briefly a bold Toni Storm is, as you say, it's a pretty significant chapter point, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's very good at understanding the danger of being middled once you've had it all. Steve Austin genuinely believed that he couldn't be lowered down the card. The Stone Cold character couldn't. I thought that exact problem was occurring with Timeless Toni Storm. She might have just found the cheat code here.
Yeah.
Well, not the cheat code, the very gutsy character move in getting a head shave.
A trend booker, because we're doing this because it's Wheeler Yuta, obviously.
Probably.
Because the idea is, in the US anyway, when you do this match, it's an excuse for the heel to goof off and wear a hat and then get the hat taken off them. That's what this is. But we're just, going through the range of possibilities just to see. Marina Shafir is an interesting one because they could subvert this. Part of me thinks she plays this really tough, mean, menacing character who we said the best thing about Shafir last year was Moxie was like, I could go with the human horse to make sure the job gets done, but Shafir's better than Claudia. It was class. It was really good stuff. I could see her shaving the head purely to just reiterate, because it's got connotations of like a tough person's haircut on it, and she could embrace it as that. But then that's the heat isn't there. The heat is you're meant to laugh. You're not meant to think, oh, this person looks even more badass.
I've got an idea. Seeing as we are like the Death Riders / Blackpool Combat Club are the primary, I don't know, members of Tweener City, right? What if the finish makes it clear that Wheeler Yuta could have made the save and then sort of was like, I didn't make it. Remember the Triple H Batista one? I'm tired.
Yeah.
Too tired. Like, he almost sells it. He's like, he kind of like rubs his hands through it. 1, 2.
I like it.
Oh, no, I can't make it. Like, and you little bastard. And like, she goes through with it with all of this. Like, she's John Moxley's number 2. They're both, Moxley's a babyface now, really. They're both kind of honourable, even in their nastiness. Wheeler Yuta has no honour whatsoever. He's a little, and we've watched him. And at some point, you know that like Moxley saw that as well, and the Death Riders saw that, and Wheeler will have to suffer the consequences of this one of these days. But on the night, you've got like the comment, Tony Schiavone or whatever, just, how could you, Wheeler?
Yeah.
You could have made the save there, something like that. There's a good bit of drama there if it was going to be Marina Shafir.
I do like that. It's going to be Wheeler Yuta, though, isn't it?
I think so.
It is going to be Wheeler Yuta. I wonder if this was the plan all along, because Wheeler Yuta, I know Wilborn hated this. Irrationally hated Wheeler Yuta. Get a haircut, you look stupid. It's one of those things where, because you put yourself in people's shoes somewhat, like, can you see out of that? Then you get like your eyes start to itch when you see like shaggy haircuts. Like, you can't see out of that. Just cut it a little bit. He's kind of got this little dickhead, like he's got an irritating haircut. Fabulous head of hair. You have a fabulous head of hair. I love the colour of it and everything. But he's somehow contrived to make that fabulous head of hair a dickhead hair. He's done it on purpose, really. He's played the long game for this exact night. I had an idea, right? This is the second time it's happened in AEW, but they bottled it the first time because Jack Evans had a deal. Remember?
Yeah.
This is the first big one. The chance to go again. It's Wheeler Yuta's hair. You've put it on the line, pal. You should go the whole hog. The rule of 3. AEW is excellent, right? At its best. And they are the company that just gets comedy right the most for me. They've de-emphasized it recently with his We're the Best Wrestle stuff, yeah. First thing you do is get the scissors, chop the bangs.
Get rid of those bangs.
Yeah, it's a fringe. Chop the bangs. Let's see those beautiful eyes, boy. Chop, 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 chop. Then like get it chopped off. Chop it off to a point. Then Tony Storm can get excited. Oh, what's this? Orange. It's just a shaver. I thought it was something else. Vibrator.
Yeah.
Or she could go, oh, buzz, 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 and then get it near a clam.
Orange is like, no.
And then Orange is like, no, it's not a vibrator, Tony. It's a head shaver. Oh, my mistake, darling.
Yeah.
I was about to shove it at my muff.
Can we frig ourselves on pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's
stuff,
TV, so
no.
Then I was about to shove it at my muff, but never mind. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. And like Wheeler's already like, oh God. And then it's over. Show's over, folks. Do you like my Tony Storm?
I don't mind it,
Show's over, folks. His head's gone. Time to go to the back. And then we need to leave the ring as well. and then like Orange grabs her by the hand. He's like, Drew, what's this? And then he's got to pick the full Mania 23.
Oh.
Get the shaving cream and shine up that head.
Yeah. Just a proper.
I like the idea of Tony Storm confusing the electronic head shaver for a vibrator.
I could tell. I like it too. Yeah, do what you want. This is a fun stipulation, isn't it? Like, I think any of those
that's
three.
The first thing I want to tell Will. Oh, he's gone.
What?
He left early, didn't he, Willie?
Aye.
That's why I'm going to be my opening gambit tomorrow morning. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, I've come up with a bit about Tony Storm. And
Stop everything.
Stop everything. Don't tell him it's my bit. I'm going to tell him tomorrow morning.
Yep.
So he'll probably be in before me.
Yeah, I'll keep it to myself here.
Please do. Here's something interesting on the back of some breaking news. You might have been debunked by the time you leave the studio or by the time you hear this or whatever. But according to Wrestling Observer Radio, Brody King was not on Dynamite last night, well, which was last night at time of recording, at the behest of Warner in fear of a recurrence of the FUCK ice chants, right? What happens going forward? We don't know. Is it a load of bollocks because Kenny Omega mentioned Brody King's name on the broadcast?
Did he do that because of that?
Again, it's a very fluid story that we've only heard that first bit of. Okay, it might get debunked. Who the hell knows? And if Kenny's done that, what a good brother.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something. This is going on tape delay. If there are such chants, which you'd expect maybe there wouldn't be when it's not in the country affected by all this stuff, they can edit them out or sweeten the crowd or whatever. So I wouldn't imagine it's a problem for this show, but, well, who the hell knows? It's an ongoing fluid situation. I thought it would be worth bringing up, and my idea would be, if they hate the goddamn chants so much, you can sweeten them at least on this one broadcast. A very interesting thing to follow this, because the dude's getting the push of his life right now. MJF versus Brody King. Who wins?
MJF.
And what's the match going to be like?
Fine. Like,
fine.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry. Like, I
thought you were excited about this one, you miserable bastard.
I like this happening more than I'm excited about the match. I like it. Like, this is my cup of tea. In there, I don't necessarily always get excited about the in-ring quality of like a Fed match. I'm just excited to watch. I'm glad Brody King's getting the push. I'm glad.
It doesn't matter about work rate. I know we've established over the last several years, at least once a day.
Yeah.
That you're not that on its own terms.
But
this could be like really, really unusual, dramatic.
Yeah.
That would makes it a good match then.
I love MJF. Like, he doesn't miss me. I'm kind of him on some of the stuff that people hate. Like, I like Brody King. I think some of his stuff, I think he's a bit, how can I say this diplomatically? Because I do like his work. I think sometimes the praise for him is overstated. I think he's got like 4 or 5 good things like everybody else. And I think he uses his size in a way that is now familiar rather than like, oh, a big man does that, you know? I think that's like become the norm. And he's got this really good look. And I think that obviously encourages sections of the audience to kind of gravitate to him as a result.
I reckon he'd be better. I understand why people love him. He is awesome. Some of his stuff is like, it just looks like, I mean, that sort of barricade senton deal that he does. I just don't know how he's not crushing dudes' chests. He's opening his mouth a little bit. The mystique goes.
A little bit. Like Hammer from Gladiators, for those that watch that. Same problem. Do you know what? Like, and don't take this as a slight, by the way, if you're MJF or Brody King, because it didn't really matter with when Hangman Page was on top. If it was up to me, I don't think I'd put this on last. Like, I think there's bigger or more interesting matches, or there's higher stakes than, like, not higher stakes in the AEW World title, but just like more unpredictable stakes elsewhere on the show.
Tony Khan loves nothing more than headlining shows with his men's world title.
Yeah.
It is his favorite thing. And Dave will tell you, do you know that 10% have not recorded USA Pro Wrestling territory history? It always open the show or whatever.
Hanger lost a couple, didn't he?
Tony Khan, even if, Meltzer says it isn't a tradition necessarily, Tony Khan considers it a tradition.
Yeah. It's
He always
MJ
forgets that he called it the women's world, doesn't he? He always forgets that he called it that.
Women's world. MJF wins.
How?
Cheats. Like Dynamite, Diamond Ring at the head, Heat Seeker, something like that.
I reckon they need to do something more creative, because the nature of the squash was so emphatic, and yes, Hangman helped. And they're obviously going to play with the idea of MJF is a lot shorter than Brody King, and he's sort of terrified of him, and he's not really faced anyone like this. I don't know what the actual finish should be or what the effective cheating should be. And I know they've protected the ring and whatnot as this huge thing, but it is Brody. It is a special circumstance. He should punch him with a diamond ring and Brody King just go, what was that?
That'd be pretty cool. Could they, I keep talking about, because I love that MJF even mentioned him, the prospect of Buddy Matthews making a run in. Could they Jose Lothario that bitch and have him not be fully recovered? What's the body part that's injured with Buddy Matthews?
The ankle.
Right. So, like, he hobbles out and he helps. Huge crowd. And then MJF just does something like Pillmanizes that ankle, like, or something like that. And Brody King is so distraught at the sight of, like, his best
Gets
friend.
himself
The
DQ'd.
ref goes over. No, the ref goes over there. Oh, God, terrible. Boom. Low blow. Crunch. Like, diamond ring at the cock and balls. Like, what? That's disgusting. MJF's done this and he's done this. What an awful bastard. Like that. And then he's later in the ring, the whole deal. Like, nice old-fashioned heat. Something akin to what he was cooking up in Mexico last year as well. Like, he's really good at that. That, like, incorporates the Matthews element of it, where you get this massive, he does something really cool at first.
Yeah.
But in that one moment, he makes a mistake or whatever, and MJF gets the old chair on. So just heat. And it's more good, like the good kind of pantomime pro wrestling, baddie gets the win.
Yeah.
Because this is the ironic thing about the Brody King TV situation. It's come at, in some regards, like the best possible time for him, because the push is about to end.
Yeah.
You can't see him sticking around the title.
Everything should be for your main eventers. And MJF's your main eventer.
Yeah.
People have this kind of warped view, in my opinion, of, you got buried there, or what do you do with him now? So he's outlived his usefulness for this pay-per-view cycle. That's what's happened, really.
Yeah, that's all right.
I will say, and I said this before the preview of the match, before we got the sense of, it probably is going to be a squash. Like, MJF's great at screaming in fear when he gets his ass kicked in the middle of a match before he takes the advantage and takes over. His squeals at the idea of Brody hitting that senton against the barricade. Like, this could be funny, dramatic, a very different AEW World title match. I'm really looking forward to it, primarily because I can't preview it. I've got no idea what it looks like. And I think that's refreshing, because AEW's stock and trade for so long. And they have kind of put a ceiling on the kind of stuff that they can do when, since day one, they've been, we'll do the good matches here. And that's kind of eaten itself. And this is just completely different. And there's more than one version of a good match. Is this going to be loud? Is it going to be dramatic? Could be funny.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah.
Of that, I'm sure.
Of course, it's going to be absolutely fantastic in its own completely different way. It's just, what does it look like? I don't know. No idea, right? If you've got any fantasy booking spots for this MJF Brody King stuff, right, let us know, because evidently we don't know how it's going to go at all. Probably WrestleMania 11, that bitch in a way. But other than that, who the hell knows? Right, let us know in the comments below your predictions, who's getting their hair cut off. If you thought that bit about the vibrator and the head shaver was funny, where she was going to put one on her muff before realizing it was something else. Because I like that, and I thought that was really inspired. And they should do that as a bit of fantasy booking, just because I said so, and I'll be disappointed now. So, when you book a dream match for WrestleMania, and you just think, I should have done that. Or a spot in a match, and you like it less because they didn't do it.
Yes.
I'm not going to like it as much if they don't do the thing that I've just come up with. So let us know how good that was, in the comments below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Whilst you're there, you're going to have to go elsewhere to follow Michael Hamflett at
hamflettx@gmail.com, or search me on Cameo.
You can follow me back on X at Sidgwick. This is going to get released on Friday, is it not?
I think so, yeah. Audio might be out right now.
Indeed. We are reviewing this, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not watching it for nothing.
I think we're reviewing it live on Monday. I think we're doing a live YouTube one. So
join us.
Join us for that one.
Come along as we review, live on YouTube, Grand Clam, Australia. Don't forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank Michael Hamflett as well. And we will see you soon.